and welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I know it has been 6 weeks since I last uploaded. I have been in Australia travelling the East Coast with my adventure project, and I literally got back on Wednesday. I will talk a little bit more about the trip and the jet lag and everything in this video. I wanted to do an update video letting you guys know where I've been, what I've been up to, what I'm planning on doing. Basically just kind of catch you up to date before I start posting the Australia vlogs, so I'm not super far behind. Basically what happened with the Australia vlogs is that just before I left I dropped this camera on the floor, and I think I've had this camera for about 3 years now, and I think it was kind of the final straw for its quality. When it's fully lit like this and I've got like a window full of light coming onto me, it's fine, but in any other situation I was noticing there were just lens flares all over the camera. The colours were like so muted, and obviously because I was travelling and seeing all these beautiful sights, I realised quite quickly when I was trying to edit the Melbourne vlog that the colours just weren't doing the views justice. So I decided to start filming on my phone, which was a much better decision, and the clips are way better. But that being said, the Wi-Fi in all of the hostels that I was staying in was nowhere near strong enough to transfer the files to my laptop, and also they are such big files that I need to like wipe my laptop clean after editing each individual vlog because there's not enough storage space on my laptop, and I didn't have my hard drive with me to keep the files. So I thought, you know what, it's probably better to just wait till I get back, edit them so that they're actually really good quality and that I'm happy with them, rather than try and rush it whilst traveling and them come out not as good. So that's basically why they're not here yet. I am planning on uploading them once every week for the next 6 weeks, all going well, with a couple of other videos sprinkled in between, some vlogs and things like that. But as you'll see from this video, I am kind of in a bit of a weird stage with my YouTube at the moment for reasons I will go on to explain. But yeah, I asked you guys to just ask me some questions, more general questions, just about things that you're curious about or want to know, because I feel like I'm not the best at sharing like everything that's going on in my life on my Instagram, so I can see why these questions kept coming up quite regularly. So the first question, I think I'm going to do this one first because I know that it's probably why a lot of you have clicked on this video, and it is, what is your new job? Tell us all about the job. So any of you that follow me on Instagram will know that well, you probably won't even, because I kind of just mentioned it on my story a couple of days ago, but I actually have got a job in journalism, and I'm going to be a producer at Sky News. Oh, it feels so weird to say that like out loud. I think the only people that really know are like my close friends and my parents. So yeah, I'm basically going to be starting a job at Sky News at the start of May, working as an output producer on their news content, which is just the most, I still can't believe it, to be honest. So I actually did the job interview about 3 days before I flew to Australia. I was so convinced. I literally just applied on a complete whim because I was like, I'm going to Australia, like they're probably going to need someone a lot sooner than when I can start. But I'm just gonna give it a go anyway. But yeah, so I applied and I did the interview, and I didn't really think much else of it. I went to Australia and I was having a really good time, and I assumed I hadn't got it because I hadn't heard anything. I very stupidly had bought an Australian SIM card, and I tried to put my UK number as an eSIM, but it clearly didn't work because I wasn't getting any calls and texts from home. But I didn't really assume that everyone was messaging me on Facebook and stuff, so I assumed that people weren't texting me. Anyway, so about a week and a half has passed. It's Valentine's Day and I'm in Byron Bay, and I get an email and it was like, oh, hi Eve, like we've tried to get in touch with you but we've had no luck. Can you reply to this email so we can like have this discussion further? From Sky. And I was like, what the hell? So obviously literally straight away, I think it was like 9 PM Australian time, so it would have been 10, 11 o'clock UK time. I rang them straight away. I was like, hi, I'm so sorry, like what is this about? I'm in Australia. And he was like, oh, you're in Australia, I didn't know that, even though I had mentioned it, but whatever. And he basically was like, yeah, we tried to ring you like 3 times last week to make you an offer and we couldn't get hold of you. And I was like, what? Sorry, just repeat that again? Like, are my ears broken? And yeah, they gave me the offer there and then, and they were completely chill with the fact that I was away, and they actually have suggested that I start at the start of May. So that's even better for me because it means I have a month now to sort of get settled. I need to sort the flat out, I need to unpack, edit these vlogs and just spend some quality time with friends, family and Rob as well. So I'm really happy about that. So what the job basically entails is you are basically just responsible for kind of what's on the screen during your shift. So if there's a big news event, you're tracking down guests, you're figuring out how the show's going to run, like what clips are you going to have, what interviews are you going to have, what's the kind of feel of the story piece going to be, you're commissioning graphics for the piece, you're editing together video clips for the piece. So it's kind of just putting together the news pieces that you see on the TV. So yeah, that's basically going to be my job, with the aim of eventually working my way up to become a correspondent, because that's where most correspondents at Sky tend to start out. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing, I'm not gonna lie. It's going to be a long, like, it's definitely going to be an adjustment because I'm going to be working 45-hour weeks, so 5 10-hour shifts one week and 4 10-hour shifts the week after, and it is a bit of a commute from our flat here in Brixton. But the landlady has said that she has no plans of putting up the rent like next year, and that we can have like a monthly tenancy rather than a yearly one. So we are going to try and stay here, because we would have to pay so much more money if we tried to move anywhere else at the moment. We've got a really good deal on the rent here, so it might be a bit of a bitch of a commute to start with, but I am really excited, and yeah, I just can't believe that it's happening. If you have any more questions about it, do let me know. I'm obviously going to be talking about it in more detail, like in vlogs and things like that. I'm still not entirely sure what it's going to mean for my YouTube, obviously, because that's a really time intensive job, but it's the sort of thing that I've literally dreamed about since I decided I wanted to become a journalist, and I'm really honoured that like all of the hard work has paid off, and I've got a job that I'm just so excited to get started with. And that when I did work experience at Sky in 2019, if you'd have told me that 4 years later, pretty much to the day today, I would be sat here with a job offer from Sky, I wouldn't have believed you. I love the offices, I love the vibe, they have so many like company perks, great pension, get free Sky TV, free broadband, you know, Sky Sports for Rob, so everyone's happy, me especially. But yeah, that's basically my job update. And that little announcement actually brings me very nicely onto today's video sponsor, Coursera. So if you've not heard of Coursera before, they basically offer world-class, flexible, affordable, and most importantly, job-relevant online learning worldwide. And if, like me, you're looking at joining a new career path this year, or you're just looking at developing your personal skill set, then Coursera have programs with Google that could get you into an entry-level job in loads of different fields within 6 months of completing them. So with these Google programs, you're going to be learning in-demand skills to help you enter careers such as digital marketing and e-commerce, IT support and data analytics. And the best part is you don't need any relevant experience or a degree to take part in these programs. And the programs are flexible and self-paced, so you can complete them at a rate that suits you and your lifestyle, and you can complete them within 6 months, even if you're dedicating less than 10 hours a week to the course. What I really love about these programs is that they offer you hands-on courses to help apply these new skills that you're learning, and they also, more importantly, offer you direct connections to potential future employers to really help you get your career started. And the best part is, when you complete the course, you receive a shareable professional certificate which you can show to potential employers, and it's industry recognised for your CV and LinkedIn. And on top of that, they also offer career support to help you make those early steps into your new industry, from CV builders to mock interviews. They've got your back, and they're really going to help you break into this new career path. So if, like me, you're looking to start a new career this year or to change career paths, then you can sign up for a 7-day free trial to try out these programs with Coursera and Google, and I'm sure you will not regret it. The link to find out more will of course be down in my description below, so be sure to go and check it out. Let me know what you think, and you can come on this new career journey with me this year together. Thank you so much to Coursera for sponsoring this video, and let's carry on with the questions. The next question is an update on your journalism course. When do you find out how you've done? So I actually found out last week that I am officially a gold standard qualified journalist. The gold standard basically means that you need to get a C and above in all of your modules, and you need to get 100 words a minute shorthand. I've made no secret of the fact that I found this course really challenging, just in the sense that the style of learning and the type of exam and content was very different to kind of what I was used to at uni, and I definitely had a bit of a wobble in confidence at the start, as you would have seen in some of my vlogs. I was just really not sure if I could do it and whether I kind of made a mistake. But I decided to just pull my socks up and go, you know, we've been in this situation before where you feel like it's not going to go well, and if you just put your mind to it and you work as hard as you can, what is the worst that can happen? So in about November time, I decided to just be like, right, I'm just going to give this my best shot. Whether or not it goes according to plan, it doesn't matter, and I'm just going to give it all that I've got and all the energy and all the effort that I can physically put in. Even though these are new ways of learning and new skills, surely I can just apply the old skills that I've learned to this new way of learning, and lo and behold, the effort did pay off. So yeah, I just put my nose to the grindstone and I worked my socks off, and I actually managed to get an A in all of my modules and 100 words a minute shorthand, which I am over the moon about, and I'm really glad that the effort that I put in the end paid off, and that I managed to pull myself out of this like self-doubt and wobble that I was having at the start. I think once you kind of back yourself, and I'm kind of annoyed that it's taken me this long to learn this after how many years of education, but once you just back yourself and you're like, I know I'm capable of doing this, it is mad how much time and energy and stress that saves you from worrying about whether it's going to go wrong. And when you put that to the side and you just focus on the final result and go, this is what I would like, I'm just going to work towards that, whether it happens or not, we'll deal with it when we get there. I really wish I'd been better at perfecting that mentality earlier on in my educational career, because now I'm kind of done with education. I imagine it's kind of a bittersweet thing to have finally got to that point in my last sort of hurdle. But anyway, that's a completely different conversation for a different day. I'm really happy with my results. I'm hopefully going to be getting my certificate through the post soon. And yeah, I had already got the job before I found out that I'd got those results, but the job offer and that has just been the best result that I could have possibly asked for coming out of this course. And yeah, I would 100% recommend the News Associates Fast Track if you are looking at going into journalism. It's given me the best start that I could have really possibly asked for without having to do an entire year's masters and pay for an entire year's masters. I used the money that I would have spent on my masters going travelling, and I feel like all of it has just worked out exactly how I would want. I did the course in 6 months, I got to go and see a new part of the world, and now I'm starting a job that I have dreamt of. So yeah, I am really happy at the moment, as you can probably tell by the massive smile on my face. Moving on a little bit to talk about Australia. The first question is, how has the jet lag been? I was feeling so smug on Wednesday. I landed at noon on Wednesday, and I'd kind of slept on and off on both the flights, and I slept a bit in the airport on my layover, so I really wasn't sure how I was going to be feeling, because I kind of gave up trying to like sleep at the right times to avoid the jet lag, because there was a screaming child on my flight, and I was like, I'm just gonna sleep through this because I can't deal with it. So my mom actually very kindly picked me up from the airport, because she was down working near Gatwick anyway, and she drove me back to the flat, and I was honestly fine. Like, I spent the afternoon watching Daisy Jones and the Six, amazing by the way. I even, you know, started unpacking a little bit, and then Rob got home, and I was just so happy to see him that all thought of jet lag just went. Like, I was just absolutely over the moon, and we had dinner and I was honestly fine, and I slept through the night, no problem. I think went to bed about 11, woke up at 8. I was like, grand, like smashed it. And then yesterday about 5 o'clock, it just absolutely just hit me like a ton of bricks. I have never felt that tired. It was honestly within about half an hour I went from being completely fine to I actually can't get off the sofa. I must have fallen asleep. Rob got back about an hour later and woke me up and was like, are you okay? And I was just like, I am so tired. So I spent the evening on the sofa kind of drifting in and out of sleep. I could not keep my eyes open. And I did manage to sleep last night, but I woke up at 5 AM this morning for a couple of hours. I just couldn't get back to sleep. And I am really feeling quite groggy today. But I feel like that was kind of inevitable. And I feel like it could have been worse, and hopefully now I should be getting out of it slowly. But obviously they say it takes like a day for every hour of time difference to properly adjust, so it's going to take a little while yet, but I'm feeling okay. And I'm going to get my hair done today, because the roots, you can't see them on this, but the roots are not good. You can't really see my tan at all on here because there's so much light coming through the window. It is kind of washing me out, but I feel like I'm going to go like a more auburn, like a lighter brown, not lighter brown, but like a warmer brown colour for the spring summer. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm going to go meet Rob and his friends for drinks later, so hopefully I'll be okay. I'm just gonna like ignore it and hopefully it will just go away. But that is definitely something to consider if you are going. Make it worth your while and go for long enough that you can deal with the jet lag either side. The jet lag when I got there was actually okay. It was like maybe 4 or 5 days of me waking up in the middle of the night. But after that, honestly, I slept like a baby for like the whole trip in hostels. Earplugs and eye mask for the win. Okay, next question is, what was your favourite part of the East Coast? So for those of you who don't know, I basically travelled all the way from Melbourne, right at the bottom, all the way up to Cairns at the top, and I did quite a few stops along the way. My favourite part was undoubtedly Airlie Beach and the Whitsundays. The Whitsunday Islands are beautiful. I spent 3 days on a boat, travelling around them, going to Whitehaven Beach. You'll see all of this in the vlogs, but that week was definitely my favourite week of the trip. I thought Airlie Beach was beautiful. It was giving like Greek, not Greek, like European port town resort vibes. And the weather was on and off, but I didn't really care because the hostel was lovely. I did a skydive that week. I did a scenic flight around the Great Barrier Reef. 100% my favourite week of the trip and definitely my favourite location. My least favourite location, I know you didn't ask this, but I feel like it's good to get a bit of balance, was Surfers Paradise. It was just giving Benidorm, but in the middle of Australia, with the humidity of Australia vibes. And we were only there for 2 nights, and all we really did was go and have like a burger and play mini golf, and I was kind of just like, I just was not my favourite place, and I think we were all quite tired. That was the first kind of break that we'd had on the trip, and we basically just spent the time eating and sleeping because it was just, you'll see in the vlogs, it's just a very interesting place. I don't think I would go back, to be honest. The next one is, has Australia made you want to travel more? Yes and no. I don't think I would want to do more backpacking right now. I think 6 weeks was like a perfect amount for me personally, and I met a lot of people that were doing like a year of backpacking, and I don't think personally I could have done any more without a bit of a break. But it has definitely made me want to go and do it again in the future. I think me and my sister are planning on going to Southeast Asia in a couple of years when she has her year in industry at uni. So she's going to uni in September, which if any of you have watched me for any amount of time, I'm sure you will be unable to fathom that as much as I am, because that means that I started uni 5 years ago. Sorry, what? But yeah, she's going to uni in September, and she has 2 years and then a year in industry and then her final year. So we're hoping maybe between her second and year in industry year, we might go and see if we can try and do 6 weeks around Asia, which would be awesome, because everyone has told me that I met in Australia that has done Asia, that it's really worth visiting, that it's a lot cheaper than Australia, and I'm definitely setting that in my sights, and hopefully I'll be able to take some unpaid leave in a couple of years and do that. I would also love to do South America one day. Don't want to do it solo, so I'm gonna see if I can maybe convince someone. Rob, I don't think is gonna be convinced. He's not the backpacking type. I think he's more of a nice European holiday type. But we'll see, we'll see. I definitely do want to do some more traveling, but I don't think I could do it like for a year straight. I don't think it's kind of me. I like my home comforts, I like my sofa, I like my big double bed, and I like doing it in bursts, basically. The next one is, how did you cope with the long distance with Rob while you were in Australia? We were actually fine. You know, that was the thing I was the most worried about, because I am a big texter. Like, I text all the time. I am pretty much always on my phone. I generally do reply quite quickly. And Rob is not a texter. He never has been, he never will be. If he's out during the day, he's not looking at his phone, and he genuinely is just not on his phone, and he won't think twice about it. When we're on the same time zone and we're living together, that's no problem, because he'll be out during the day and I'm like, okay, yeah, he's gonna be back at 6, I'll see him later. When you're 11 hours apart, that is a lot more difficult, and I was really worried that we were gonna end up like miscommunicating or something like that, but we were honestly completely fine. I think actually the time difference really worked in our favour, because when I had like my free time in the morning before I was going out or doing anything, he would be going to bed. So we'd often call for like 40 minutes or so, like that time, while he was going to sleep. And then when I was going off to sleep, he'd be getting up and going out, so he'd give me a quick call in the morning. So we were basically kind of calling once or twice a day and just texting whenever we sort of could. And I'd figured out what times he was out, and when he was out I was asleep, so I was never even worrying that he wasn't messaging, because I was fast asleep. So actually it kind of worked fine, and they always say that distance makes the heart grow fonder. It definitely did. Not that I wasn't fond of him already. I didn't think it was possible to be more fond of him, but by the last week I was so ready to be back and to see him. I missed him so much. I didn't really realise it was possible to miss somebody as much as I missed him, and it just made me realise like how lucky I am to have him, and how excited I was to see him, and how grateful I am that we live together in our nice little flat. I was just so happy to be sat on the sofa with him, watching TV, eating some dinner that he cooked us. It was just the best feeling on Wednesday night. So yeah, we were okay. I do think if I'd have been gone much longer, I think then obviously it would have been a little bit more difficult, but because I had a fixed end date, I think we both knew that I was going to be back on this date. Rob has been so busy with uni and rehearsals for his agent showcase that he's been really occupied with stuff. I was obviously occupied like traveling, so it worked out fine really. Would I want to spend 6 weeks apart again? Probably not, I can't lie. It was really just long by the end. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually need to see him, but no, it was okay. I am generally quite an independent person, but I think I didn't realise kind of how much I just enjoy having him around and how much I just love being in his company until I went and didn't see him for that long. And the people that I was travelling with were probably sick of me talking about him, but I don't care, so yeah. The next one is, would you go back to Australia to stay longer term like Liv and Molly? I personally don't think I would, not because I didn't like Australia. It is beautiful and I had the best 6 weeks, honestly. It's one of my life highlights. But that being said, I don't think for me personally I would want to live there. One, it's just really far away, and I am a big family girl. I don't know why, but there is something about the UK that I love, and I get the sense of home and comfort here. And especially London. I think when I was in Melbourne, I really like Melbourne, but everyone always compares Melbourne with London, and for me personally, there is just no comparison. Like, I just think London is my place to be, and I love London so much, and being in Melbourne made me realise that. I think the quality of life in Australia is definitely better in terms of, a lot of people were saying that they get paid a lot more over there for what they would be doing over here, and the weather is generally better obviously when you, especially when you go up the coast. But for me personally, I think I would just miss my family, I would miss my home comforts. I just love the vibe of living in London. I just think it's a great place to be in your 20s. I would just probably miss mainly like the proximity to other countries as well. Like, I flew from Cairns to Melbourne, and that was like a 3.5 hour flight. I could be in Greece, I could be in Turkey, I could be like so many different places from the UK. And I think the fact that the sort of closest flight out of Australia that's not New Zealand is like a 7-8 hour flight, like it's that I would just feel very cut off personally, as someone that likes doing little city breaks and things. It was great to visit, and the nature and the views and all of that was just unparalleled. The amount of wildlife I got to see, and that you would just be casually walking around, there'd just be like a koala just chilling like in the wild, or like cassowaries or bin chickens. Like, the nature is awesome, and I think that is something that really sets Australia apart. But for me personally, I just love being here, and I love how much I can see within such a short flight time. Basically, to summarise, I keep saying this and I feel like I'm just not getting my words out properly. I can so see why people move to Australia. I can so understand why you would want the better weather, the better quality of life, the amazing nature, all of the things that Australia has to offer. And if I was going to live somewhere long term that wasn't London, it would probably be the south of Spain. That is probably the one place I've been that I preferred to Australia, just because for me it had the beaches, it had the weather, but it also had amazing architecture and just so much history and culture. Not that Australia doesn't have culture, that's not what I'm trying to say, but there's just hundreds and hundreds of years worth of stuff. And it just, for me, the food as well, like the food in Spain is just chef's kiss. And yeah, I think for me that would be the one place that would top Australia on my list of like, if I was going to move somewhere. But I can completely understand why people do go and live in Australia. Like, I can see why Liv and Molly are there for sure. Next one is, how expensive is Australia? Please be honest, as I'm looking to budget the trip myself. Girl, oh my god, it's so expensive. It's so expensive. I did not realised how expensive it was going to be. Obviously I was so fortunate that the actual tour part of my trip, so like the transport and the tours, were very kindly gifted by My Adventure Project, but I probably spent as much as that would have cost again whilst I was there. Granted, I did, you know, I went shopping and I definitely went out for dinner a little bit, and I didn't cook all that much in the hostels because we were only there for like 1 or 2 nights, so I just found that ingredients were going bad really quickly. And I'm not gonna lie, in a couple of hostels some of my ingredients went missing, so I probably could have done it for cheaper. Like, being fully honest, I could have definitely sort of like pinched the pennies, but that does not escape from the fact that Australia is just so expensive. You would go into Woolworths for like a couple of bits and it would come to like 20 quid, even though you've just gone and gotten a couple of bits. Fair enough, with the cost of living crisis here and the inflation here in the UK, it's not dissimilar to being here at the moment, but I just felt like I was paying London prices everywhere I went, pretty much. It was just really expensive. I didn't notice it to start with, but then when I was looking at like my average spend trends, obviously I was spending more because I was like traveling, I was buying snacks, like I was buying souvenirs or whatever, but it just did not match up. Especially food, I think, is really expensive. If you go out for dinner, it adds up really quickly. I'm not gonna like make any light of it, like it is just a very expensive country. Feel free to disagree in the comments, but everyone I've spoken to, especially people that have gone and backpacked like Southeast Asia, have said, you know, they really noticed a change in the amount that they were spending when they got to Australia. So it is expensive, forewarning. I don't mean to be like super negative about it, because obviously I live in London, so I can't really say anything. Like, I'm willing to pay the prices if I enjoy being somewhere. But gosh, yeah, definitely budget a fair bit for just spending while you're out there, because I was surprised at how much I spent. I don't think I was expecting to spend as much as I did, and I didn't even shop that much. I think I bought like 3 new items of clothing and like a few souvenirs, but it was mainly food that cost me the money. So yeah. The next question is, what would be your backpacking must-haves if you were to do it again? I have a few that I realised that I couldn't have done it without. My Kindle, for sure. You are spending so much time traveling and just sitting around, like waiting for things, like waiting for buses, or, you know, even just sitting at the beach. I read like 6 books while I was out there, which for me, 6 books in 6 weeks is, you know, is pretty impressive. I have a white Kindle, so it didn't absorb the sun or overheat or anything, and it was used so much. I had it out all the time, and it was so much better than having a physical book because it wasn't getting like sand or sun cream or anything on it. So I would definitely recommend a Kindle. Another thing I would absolutely not have gone without is a tote bag. I used it all the time, whether I was going to the beach, we were going on day trips, I was taking it to the supermarket, I was taking my laundry to the washing machines. Like, I used my tote bag pretty much every single day, and I actually bought another one while I was out there because my other one broke. I used it so much that I couldn't really be without one. So yeah, definitely recommend that. Would also really recommend like a card game, like a pack of cards or Uno. I actually ended up buying Uno while I was out there because that's a really good way to make friends with people, do drinking games, and it's so easy to have like in your bag. It really doesn't take up much space at all. And my final absolute essential would be my microfiber towel. It absolutely reeks now, even though I've washed it like every single week while I was out there. But I have a Dock and Bay microfiber towel, and it was just amazing. Like, it just absorbed all the water off me so quickly. It was so light, it was so portable. You need a towel all the time, whether you're on the beach, whether you're like constantly showering because of the high humidity in Queensland. Like, you just are always in or out of the water or sweating. So, you know, it's a very useful thing to have. Those would definitely be like the 4 things that came to mind to me as like, I couldn't have done that trip without, but there are lots of other things, I'm sure. But if you go and watch my packing video, there wasn't really anything that I regretted taking with me, to be honest. I'm just looking at my bag now, which I've still not unpacked. No, there really wasn't anything that I regretted. So if you go and watch that, then I think I was pretty happy with what I took overall, and I still had space in my rucksack to bring stuff back as well. So the next question is YouTube related. Are you planning to make YouTube videos whilst having another job and a career? My honest answer to that right now is I have not got the faintest idea what is going to happen to my YouTube channel when I start this job, because I've not started it yet. For all I know, you know, I could be able to balance them fine. I have no clue. I would love to keep making videos, but equally I don't really think I want to be filming whilst I'm at work, because I feel like that's a very separate thing for me. I don't really want to be coming into a new office space and like waving my camera around being like, oh, vlog with me at work. I'm just not sure that now I'm going into a professional environment that I want to be doing that. And that kind of leaves me with a bit of uncertainty, because if I'm working a 45-hour week, I'm not really going to have much time outside of work where I'm not eating or sleeping to be vlogging. So I don't really know at the moment. I will keep you updated on that. I haven't really decided myself, and I think I kind of want to start the job and see how it goes for a while before I make any firm decisions about what's going to happen to my YouTube channel. But I'm not starting till May, and I still have all the Australia videos to come, and I am going to keep making content until I start my job. So yeah, I will get back to you on that one. Yeah, it's a bit of a, I'm not that sure, but I feel like, how can you be sure when you've not actually started yet? So yeah, hold that thought. The next question is, how are you doing in generally, mentally, physically and emotionally after Australia? Physically, I'm not thriving, to be honest. I seem to have picked up some cold on the plane. I was actually, like, I had a really bad chesty cough for most of the trip, which you will see in the vlogs. I finally managed to shift that in the last 2 weeks, and today I've woken up with a cough again. So I'm not very happy about that, but I'm sure it's probably just like a rundown after traveling thing that will lift. But if I sound like my nose is blocked, it's because it is. I feel like my nose is just constantly blocked. I really should go and see someone about that. But yeah, so I have got a bit of a cold, so physically not great. I mean, physically in terms of like, generally, I am loving life. I feel like I feel so much better when I've got a bit of a tan going on, a bit of colour. There's nothing wrong with being pale, obviously, but for me personally, it just like lifts my mood and makes me feel just like, yeah, I look great. So I think once I finish my laser hair removal, because once I need to get rid of this tan now in the next 6 weeks, because I need to finish my laser hair removal. But I think once I finish my laser hair removal, I'm going to be getting on the gradual tanner, or maybe even fake tan, because I feel like every outfit looks better. Like, I just feel really confident in myself. And yeah, something about being away as well, where I feel like generally, like, you come back and you just have that glow. And I felt the same when I got back from Seville, and everyone I've seen so far has been like, wow, you look great. And I'm like, thanks. Like, I feel really good in myself. So I am ill, but I'm also feeling very confident, and like, I've got that post-travel glow going on at the moment. You know, you got to back yourself. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Emotionally, I am a bit all over the place, to be honest. I think obviously traveling, you are really in the moment, I think, and I really was trying not to think about everything that I had waiting for me coming back. And then when I got back, I was just so excited to see Rob that I hadn't really thought past that, to be honest. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I am literally starting a new career soon. Like, this is where life really starts, and it's going to be a really big change for me, working hours, like shifts. I don't think I've ever worked shifts before, and I think that's definitely going to take some adjusting to. It's definitely going to take some adjusting to, sort of like getting used to me and Rob being on different schedules. I have no idea what shift patterns I'm working yet, whether it's going to be night shifts, morning shifts. So that's definitely going to take some adjusting, and yeah, it's just a big scary thought, like really exciting but really, really scary. So I think I'm in a bit of a transitional phase right now. Thankfully, I'm really, really grateful that I have April to kind of sort myself out. I'm going to Ireland for a week with Rob to see his family. He's coming back to Birmingham to see my family for a bit. But other than that, I kind of have the month to sort of recalibrate myself and get myself ready for such a big change. So I'm very, very thankful that that was the date that they suggested for me to start. But yeah, mentally I'm good. I feel like traveling always is really, really good for just, not in like a cheesy way, but it does just kind of make you realise what's important in your life and what your priorities are. And I've come back with a very clear head, knowing like where I stand and what's important to me and what I want to put effort into, and you know what I mean. Just, I feel very, this is my life now, this is where I want to be in a couple of years time. I'm really happy with how things are generally, and that's a really nice feeling. Like, touch wood, I am, yeah, very happy with my life at the moment, and I've come back from this trip feeling refreshed, tired, but like refreshed mentally, and yeah, ready for this next chapter. And just in awe and really proud of myself that I'm in a position that I'm really, really happy to be in. And yeah, Okay, I think those are all the questions that I'm going to answer today. Yeah, as you can tell, I just can't really stop smiling because just sitting and talking about all of these things, I just, yeah, I'm really happy at the moment, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you're excited for the Australia vlogs. I know that I am. I've been editing the first one and I love it so much, and they're only going to get better from there because the East Coast is just beautiful. Thank you so much to Coursera for sponsoring this video. I will of course leave the link down in the description if you want to go and try a 7-day free trial of their programs with Google. And yeah, I'll see you hopefully very soon with an Australia vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.